Today, on Be Something Wonderful, going for it and creating your ideal life experience. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. Big video this morning. I had a great session yesterday, and it really was a pretty deep discussion. But I really want to highlight this idea that this client said, you know, Tom, I just believe that I have some subconscious assumptions and beliefs that are blocking me from what I want. I've talked about these ideas in other videos. And then she went on to talk about how that, you know, she's been taught to live simply and that others are suffering in the world and others don't have a lot. So it's wrong to want a lot, to want what you want, right? It's somehow wrong or not noble to want a lot or to want big desires. This is really the discussion we had. And guys, I wanna really unpack this like we never have before. I want to get to this idea that somehow that you have an unconscious or a subconscious drive that's preventing you from everything you want. So let's really talk about this. So I want to start. This really is connected to yesterday's video, and I'm going to leave a link, but that's really the membership video. But just in case, for those of you that are members that haven't watched that video yet, I'll leave a link below because it connects to this. But this video for sure stands on its own for those of you who are not part of the membership channel. And I want to talk about some quotes. We're going to start off with some quotes from Seth and Jane Roberts, right? From that non-physical entity Seth, channeled through Jane Roberts. But I want to start out with a big point first, though. And this doesn't necessarily come from Seth, although he points to it. There's no nobility in depriving yourself. There's no power. There's nothing right about not wanting what you want, about living a simple life because others are suffering. There's nothing noble about that. There's nothing better about that. I just really want to get to that. You can have it all. There's no other rule, right? This is what a couple quotes from Seth that he says, you make your own reality. There's no other rule. And everybody else does too, right? What exists physically exists first in thought and feeling. There is no other rule. You get what you concentrate on or upon. There's no other rule. You rule your experiences from the focal point of your present, where your beliefs and assumptions directly intercept with the body in the physical world, and on one hand, and in the invisible world, and draw energy and strength from it on the other. Do you see it? This whole idea that, first of all, that I just want to say in this particular client's case, these beliefs and assumptions were not hidden. We're not buried in the subconscious. They're right out there in the open. She's talking about them. She's brought them to awareness that she's been taught or learned that it's better to be, quote, humble and not want a lot, and because others are struggling. And that has nothing to do with the real definition of being humble or any of that. That's all 3D concepts. That's linear thinking. Those are bogus assumptions in themselves, right? What's happening here, she's consciously assuming the subconscious unconsciously creates her life. Hear this. It's all very conscious. Remember, Jesus said, I am the door. That's the conscious mind. You get what you're consciously assuming and believing and deciding on and choosing right now. It's not hidden away. We have plenty of videos on the subconscious mind and the idea of impressing it and so forth. I don't want to get into that today. I want to tell you that when you think it's buried in your subconscious and you can't access it, or there's beliefs and assumptions that are somehow creating your life without your permission, right? Without you consenting to it, that's where you're giving up control, right? Everything, remember, whatever you're thinking and feeling is coming from that greater subconscious. And when you identify with those as who you are, when you believe in them, then you're consenting to them. You're creating that reality, right? You're consciously assuming the subconscious unconsciously creates your life, and that's not the case. You create it, right? It's with that assumption that you're allowing that subconscious to create your life, right? There is no nobility in struggling. There's no nobility in striving. There's no nobility in struggling and suffering and believing that you have to do that to get what you want. None of that. You are pure positive energy, your consciousness, your God that can be, do, or have whatever your heart desires without judgment, without conditions, and without limits. That's where I want to start today. And remember, this is what I had talked about with this client in the last few actually. You exist in all potential infinite realities and versions of yourself. In other words, of that multidimensional you, the entire personality, the entire spiritual personality of who you are. But the you, the conscious 3D world you, chooses where to live and dwell. Do you hear this? It's not a subconscious choice. You get to choose that consciously, the 3D you. You exist in all potential infinite realities and versions of yourself, capital S. But the you, the conscious you, the 3D you, chooses where to live and dwell. So yes, there are unconscious or subconscious beliefs and assumptions, but those are coming up all the time in your experience with the thoughts you're thinking, with the thoughts you're feeling, and the things you're seeing in your life and around you, and the conditions. They're all about you in the conditions and the thoughts and feelings. That messy middle is very clear. It's all around you, right? So it's not hidden. You have and this is what Seth says through Jane Roberts, you have the conscious mind for a good reason. You're not at the mercy of the unconscious drives, he calls them unconscious drives, I like that, unless you consciously acquiesce to them, unless you consciously just decide to be unconscious. Hear it. Decide not to be aware of who you really are, unless you just decide, well, okay, whatever. It's fate, it's destiny. It's my life circumstances. I was born into it. I was brought up that way. That's what I was told. I can't get that. What do I do about that? Right? Unless you are at the mercy of them. You put yourself at the mercy of them. Right? I just want to hit that. And so, how you feel indicates the thoughts you're believing to be real. And your thoughts flow from your assumptions about yourself, your self-concept, and reality. How you see and perceive the world. And those assumptions are very clear because look around how you're feeling and what are you seeing? How are you reacting and responding to your 3D world and to your reality, to the people, events, and circumstances? How you're reacting, how you're responding tells you what you're feeling, and what you're feeling tells you what you're thinking, and what you're thinking tells you what you're assuming. None of it's hidden. None of it's there hiding out to wreck your life. Right? Those unconscious or unwanted drives are the thieves and robbers of Scripture. Past regrets, thoughts from focusing on unwanted conditions out there. That's the thieves and robbers, but you don't have to let them through the door. They exist. All thoughts exist. All unconscious thoughts and feelings, it all exist. They all have a right to exist. But what you let through the door, through your conscious mind, what you decide to focus on, what you decide to put your attention on is up to you. Right? Big deal here. The unconscious drives are the thieves and robbers of Scripture. Past regrets and thoughts for focusing on unwanted conditions out there. Right? I am the door of the sheep. This is what Jesus said. I am is your awareness of being. Your awareness of being is the door. Right? And you have access to that awareness of being through your conscious thoughts and assumptions, your conscious mind. Of the sheep, of thoughts. Right? He who does not enter the sheepfold by the door, but climbs up some other way, the same is a thief and robber. This is what Jesus says. He continues to say that. Remember, the sheepfold's that greater subconscious, right? It's that great kingdom of God, right? That great subconscious. He who does not enter the sheepfold by the door, in other words, by that higher awareness of who you are, your I am awareness. Right? Not just looking around what other people say to you or the conditions or the past thoughts or the past things that have happened and letting that direct your thought. It comes through the door of that I am of your conscious mind right now, right? And that conscious mind is connected to the great I am, right? There's no difference. That's the thieves and robber when it comes to another door. In other words, when you're believing that the subconscious directs your life, now it's coming through some other way. That's the thieves and robber. You are identifying with your thoughts and feelings about them through the 3D personality, the lower mind, reacting inwardly and outwardly to them. Right? You're reacting both inwardly and outwardly. You are acquiescing and putting yourself at the mercy of the unconscious drives, as Seth was pointing out. Do you see this? I'm going to hit this again because this is important. He who does not enter the sheepfold by the door, but climbs up some other way, the same is the thief and the robber. What's the thief and the robber? When you're identifying with your thoughts and the feelings about them through your 3D personality, through your lower mind, reacting inwardly and outwardly to them. You're acquiescing and putting yourself at the mercy of unconscious drives, as Seth was pointing out. You're not at the mercy. You put yourself at the mercy when you start identifying with those thoughts and feelings and start reacting inwardly and outwardly on them. Start getting caught up in the messy middle. So think for yourself. That's really what I want to say. What do I mean by that? Because you hear that thought all the time, think for yourself. What does that really mean? It means think through that I am, through the door of the I am for yourself. Don't let people, events, and circumstances determine your thinking or your behavior or your feelings, right? Neither or the inner temporary thoughts and feelings affect your assumptions or your behavior, right? But he who enters by the door is the shepherd of the sheep, right? The shepherd, be the good shepherd, as Jesus said. If you open it, the thoughts that go through the door of your I am, is through you are the shepherd now. You're shepherding your thoughts, right? You're not controlling them. You're not denying them. You're seeing them from that higher light of your spiritual awareness. In other words, you're seeing them through the assumption of your wish fulfilled, through the assumption of your desired end, through the assumption of your ideal. See that? The messy middle is an attempt to enter the kingdom by another means. Enter the sheepfold by another means. That's the thief and robber, right? I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd gives his life for the sheep. This is what John 10:11 said. What did Jesus meant by that? He meant you give up the messy middle and identify with the truth of being I am. You die to the lower unwanted states of consciousness, right? You die to the old realities. You die to the old versions of yourself. You die to the limitations. That's what a good shepherd does. Gives his life for the sheep, for the thoughts, for the true spiritual thoughts, right? You die to that new state of consciousness, right? All thought is then lifted up to the light of spiritual consciousness. Wow. That's powerful. Let's continue. A lot today, a big one today, guys. Each thought has a result in your terms. This is Seth through James Roberts again. The same kind of thought, habitually repeated, will seem to have a more or less permanent effect. That's what happens with us. And that's what we attribute to the subconscious, that it's beyond our control. It's just coming up from the subconscious and I can't control it, right? I can't transcend it, right? The same kind of, it's not the same thought, but it's the same kind of thought and it's repeated. And that seems to be permanent. The reality around you seems to be permanent, but it's all changing. You get to consciously decide. You're the door. You get to consciously decide what you're going to identify with, what you're going to call your reality, what you're going to assume, right? They become beliefs, right? These habitually repeated thoughts then become beliefs or assumptions. And then they become what you believe to be true of reality versus just a thought or assumption about reality. You believe them to be truths, right? You've repeated them so long. You've thought about it so long that it becomes a belief. And that belief, you believe that belief so much that it becomes a firm assumption. You believe that assumption to be so true that you believe it to be the truth of reality. That you believe it to be reality versus just a simple belief or a simple thought about reality. It's not about controlling your thoughts. It's not about resisting thoughts. It's not about being afraid of your thoughts. That came up within a session with one of my clients yesterday, that they've always been taught to be afraid of them. It's none of that. Simply stop identifying with them as who you are. They are thoughts about reality. They are not reality. They're assumptions about reality. They are not reality. There are beliefs about reality. They are not reality, right? Be the good shepherd and focus your attention on your heart's desire and ideal outcome. Return to it over and over again. Return to that end. right? Decide what you're going to return to. Be the good shepherd. So all consciousness has within it, comes from Seth, very powerful here, Jane Roberts. All consciousness has within it the deep abiding impetus to use its abilities fully, to expand its capacities, to venture joyfully beyond the seeming barriers of its own experience. Impetus, desire, right? Deep abiding desire to remember, we've talked about this, to experience yourself as source. That's you, that's consciousness. So we're not here to limit it. We're not here to be realistic. We're not here to suffer first or struggle first to earn it, right? We're not here to deprive ourselves of something because another person's suffering, another person is not connected with the fullness of who they are. Instead, stand in your light. Have it all. And then in your example, as you teach by your example, others will feel that light, right? Not wanting money, or there's no nobility in not wanting money or not wanting wealth. We think it is. That's a 3D thought. That's a linear thought of judgment. Oh, I don't want money or to be rich. The rich, it's filthy, right? The filthy rich, they're not good people. That's all judgment. Not wanting an SP. Some say, oh, it's bad to want a specific person. No, that's just a judgment. That's coming through your filter. There's nothing wrong with any of that. There's no such thing as judge the better or right way of living your life. You're here your abiding impetus, your abiding desire is to expand, to extend love, to go beyond the barriers of your previous experience, right? It's about expression and extending love and being, doing, and having whatever your heart desires, right? It's always about extending love. Sometimes it's a call for love, but it's always about love, right? It's always about love. So it's never about lack. It's never about that. We just make that up, right? It somehow makes us feel better that we're humble and we're modest, right? We don't need to have it all, right? Consciousness, and if you don't want it all, if that's coming from a true heart's desire, that's okay too. Do you see it? It doesn't matter whether you desire it all or you don't desire it all. It matters from what point is that coming from? Is it coming from love or is it coming from fear? Is it coming from love or is it coming from lack? Because if it's coming from love and feeling that you're already fulfilled and complete, then the paradox is you don't care about having it all because you already know you have it all. Do you see the paradox? Consciousness yearns towards new forms and experiences. This really comes from Seth, right? What you consciously, the door, think, feel, believe, and assume is the creator of your experiences as consciousness. That is true, guys. That's what it's all about. And this is what Seth, through Jane Roberts, says, man has been endowed and has endowed himself. I like that. Been endowed and endowed himself with a conscious mind to direct the nature, shape, and form of his creations. All deep aspirations and unconscious motivations, all unspoken drives, rise up, hear this is so powerful, for the approval or disapproval of the conscious mind and await its direction. You keep thinking it's about the subconscious. You're waiting for the subconscious to reject or accept your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, your desires, your assumptions, what you want. It's none of that. The subconscious accepts everything. It's impersonal. It's deductive. Whatever you say goes. It's you that is consciously deciding, rejecting it. Do you see this? The subconscious mind has no power to reject anything, right? It accepts everything, every thought, every feeling, right? Every assumption is accepted and joyfully by the great subconscious because it doesn't judge anything. It just enjoys the experience. You get to decide what that's going to be, your interpretation of that, right? Your motivations, right? So that you get to approve or disapprove it. It's under your direction. The conscious mind directs. The subconscious mind accepts. Do you get it? Conscious mind directs, subconscious mind accepts. That's how it works. So you see and feel what you expect to see and feel. The world as you know it is a picture of your expectations. I love that. It really is. What you get what you expect. In other words, your assumptions. The law of assumption. It points back to Neville Goddard's teachings. You get what you assume. You get what you expect. You get what you see and feel. In other words, you get what you assume in your life. Who are you? Right? You change even the most permanent seeming conditions of your life constantly through the varying attitudes you have towards them. There's nothing in your exterior experience that did not originate within you. It all comes from you. So when you criticize others, when you condemn something in the 3D world, when it's something that you don't like something and you say something about it, that's all coming from you. That's your attitude. Right? You're creating that. It makes no sense. If 3D reality comes from within first, it's all you, it's all your expectations, it makes no sense because you perceive it within and then you perceive it without. And then you start analyzing it and condemning it and criticizing or liking it or not liking it. Either way, it's all coming from within you. It's your perception. That is really what we're talking about. That's how you go for it. How do you go for it? By consciously assuming and focusing on your heart's desire, right? When thoughts come up from that great subconscious, because they do, all thoughts and feelings come up, don't resist them. Don't reject them. Don't repress them or suppress them. It's none of that. It's knowing, okay, there it is. I'm not going to identify with that. I know they all exist, and I'm going to choose what I want. I'm going to direct it. And the subconscious must accept it, what I direct. I am the director of my reality. I am reality. Go for it, consciously creating your ideal life experience. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. I'm going to leave a link to yesterday's video for some of the members who might have missed that. It relates to this, though again, this video stands on its own. Thank you for liking the videos, sharing the videos, for being a part of the public channel, for joining for considering joining the membership channel. We have a Facebook page called an organization page at Be Something Wonderful. We have a Facebook group called the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors. That's open to all of you. You can join that and share insight and guidance with others. You can find that at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful. We also have an Instagram and Twitter page, which in the future, there's going to be different content on that. so that's coming soon. And you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, or just go to our website anytime. All that information is there and more at tomkearin.com or besomethingwonderful.com. With great love, with great light, and infinite gratitude, creators, see you soon.